Chrome, the dominant one. Chrome is the most used browser in the world by a significant margin. Google launched it in 2008 and it has held the top position since around 2012. The reason Chrome won is speed and simplicity. When it launched, most browsers felt heavy. Chrome was fast, minimal, and synced your bookmarks and history across devices through your Google account. That was genuinely new at the time. The trade-off is RAM usage and data collection. Chrome is known for consuming large amounts of memory. Open enough tabs and the impact on your system's performance is noticeable. More significantly, Chrome is built by Google, whose core business is advertising. Your browsing behavior, search history, and sites feed into Google's data infrastructure. Chrome also ties heavily into the Google ecosystem. If you use Gmail, Google Drive, Google Calendar, and Search, Chrome makes that ecosystem feel seamless. For general users who are already inside Google's world and aren't concerned about data privacy, Chrome is fast, stable, and everything works. For users who care about what's being collected, it's the most privacy-compromised major browser available. Firefox, the independent one. Firefox launched in 2004 from Mozilla, a non-profit organization. That distinction matters because Mozilla doesn't have an advertising business. It doesn't make money from your browsing data. Firefox is funded primarily through search engine partnership. Google pays Mozilla to remain Firefox's default search engine, which is an irony the internet has not stopped noticing. Firefox uses the Gecko engine, making it the only major non-Chromium browser alongside Safari. That independence is meaningful. If every browser runs on Blink, the web effectively becomes whatever Google decides Blink supports. Every browser is built on a rendering engine. That's the core software that reads website code and turns it into the visual page you see. Most browsers today are built on one of two engines. Blink, developed by Google, used in Chrome, Edge, Opera, Brave, and most modern browsers. Then there's Gecko, developed by Mozilla, used exclusively in Firefox. Safari uses its own web engine called WebKit, which is actually the ancestor Blink was forged from. This matters because two browsers built on the same engine will render websites almost identically. The differences between them come from everything built on top of the engine: features, privacy controls, performance optimizations, and ecosystem integration. On features, Firefox is strong on privacy out of the box. Enhanced tracking protection blocks trackers by default. It's also highly customizable. More extensions support flexibility than most browsers, and deep settings for users who want control. Firefox has lost significant market share over the years, partly because Chrome's early momentum was strong and partly because mobile Firefox never dominated. But for users who want a fast, private, genuinely independent browser, it remains one of the best options. Safari, the Apple one. Safari is Apple's browser built on WebKit engine, and it comes pre-installed on every Mac, iPhone, and iPad. On Apple hardware, it's the fastest browser available, not because of marketing, but because Apple optimizes Safari directly against its own chips and operating system. The efficiency advantage on Apple Silicon Macs is measurable. Safari consistently delivers better battery life than Chrome or Firefox on the same MacBook because it's tuned for the hardware at a level third-party browsers can't match. Privacy is a genuine strength. Intelligent tracking prevention blocks cross-site tracking, and iCloud Private Release, available with iCloud Plus, routes browsing through Apple servers to obscure your IP address from websites and trackers. The limitation is ecosystem locking. Safari is only available officially on Apple devices. If you use a Windows machine or an Android phone alongside your Mac, Safari doesn't follow you there. It also has historically lagged in extension support compared to Chrome and Firefox, though this has improved with recent updates. For people who live entirely inside the Apple ecosystem, Safari is the obvious choice. For cross-platform users, it creates friction. Microsoft Edge, the rebuilt one. Edge has two distinct lives. The original Edge launched with Windows 10 in 2015, using Microsoft's own Edge HTML engine. It was slow, limited, and largely ignored. Most users immediately installed Chrome. In 2020, Microsoft rebuilt Edge entirely from ground up on Chromium, the same open source base as Chrome. This is the current Edge. It's fast, Chromium compatible, and runs every Chrome extension natively. This is where things improve significantly for Microsoft. The new Edge is genuinely competitive. It has strong tracking protection, a built-in PDF reader, vertical tabs, and a sleeping tabs feature that reduces RAM usage by pausing inactive tabs. It also integrates Copilot, Microsoft's AI assistant, directly into the sidebar. Edge ships as the default browser on every Windows machine. That gives it massive reach without users actively choosing it. But when users do compare it deliberately, it holds up well, especially for Windows users who want Chrome-level compatibility without giving Google their data. Brave, the privacy-first one. Brave launched in 2016, built on Chromium, with one primary selling point: aggressive privacy protection enabled by default, without needing to install extensions or change settings. Out of the box, Brave blocks ads, blocks trackers, blocks third-party cookies, and upgrades connections to HTTPS automatically. The result is measurably faster page loads because it's not downloading ad content, and less tracking by default than any other mainstream browser. Brave also has a built-in Tor mode for specific windows, routing traffic through the Tor network for anonymized browsing without needing a separate Tor browser. The business mode is unusual. Brave replaces blocked ads with its own opt-in ad system and shares revenue with users in form of a basic attention tokens or cryptocurrency. Participation is optional. Some users find this model compelling, others find it strange. For users who want Chrome extension compatibility and maximum privacy without manual configuration, Brave is the most direct answer. The only pushback is that some websites break when aggressive blocking is active. Most have a per site toggle to address this. Opera, the feature-packed one. Opera is a Chromium-based browser that has been around since 1995, older than Chrome, older than Firefox in its earliest form. It's consistently positioned itself as a feature-first browser. Opera ships with a built-in VPN, technically a proxy, not a full VPN, but it obscures your IP from websites without a third-party extension. It also includes a native ad blocker, a sidebar with quick access to social apps like WhatsApp and Telegram, a battery saver mode, and a built-in crypto wallet. Opera GX is a variant specifically designed for gamers, with RAM and CPU limiters that let you cap how much of your system resources the browser can use, plus game release calendars and Twitch integration built in. Opera has a smaller user base than Chrome or Edge, but maintains a loyal audience that values having tools built in, rather than installed through extensions. One caveat worth knowing: Opera was acquired by a Chinese consortium in 2016, which has raised occasional questions about data handling. Users who prioritize privacy often note this as a reason to look at alternatives. Vivaldi, the power user one. Vivaldi is a Chromium-based browser built by former Opera developers who left after Opera's acquisition. It's arguably the most customizable browser available. Tab stacking, tab tilting, running multiple pages side by side inside the browser window, custom keyboard shortcuts for almost every action, a built-in email client, calendar, RSS reader, and note-taking tool. Vivaldi is designed for users who want their browser to be a complete productivity environment. The interface itself is deeply configurable. You can move the tab bar to the bottom, side, or top, change the color scheme, build custom toolbars. Most browsers give you limited layout options. Vivaldi treats the user UI as something you built for yourself. It's not a browser for someone who wants a clean, minimal experience. It's a browser for someone who has a strong opinion about how a browser should work and wants to implement all of them. Tor Browser, the anonymous one. Tor Browser is built on Firefox and routes all traffic through the Tor network, a series of volunteer-operated services that bounce your connection through multiple points before reaching a website. Each hop encrypts the traffic further. The result is that no single point can see both who you are and what you're accessing. This is a tool used by journalists, whistleblowers, privacy researchers, and people in countries with restricted internet access. It's not fast. The multi-hop routing adds latency by design. It's not also convenient. Many websites block Tor exit nodes or require additional verification. It's not anonymous by magic. Logging into a personal account, enabling JavaScript, or downloading files on a Tor network can all compromise anonymity. The browser works when used correctly and within its limitations. Tor Browser is not a daily driver for most people. It's a specific tool used for specific situations where anonymity is the highest priority. Here's what the browser you use says about you. Chrome. You're deep in Google's ecosystem and privacy isn't a primary concern. You also may not have heard about better privacy-oriented browsers. Firefox. You want independence, strong privacy, and a non-Google engine. Safari. You're on Apple hardware and you want the best battery life and Apple ecosystem integration. Edge. You're on Windows, want Chrome compatibility and prefer Microsoft's ecosystem over Google's. Brave. You want maximum privacy by default with Chromium extension support without manual setup. Opera. You want built-in tools like VPN proxy, ad blocking, and social apps without extension management. Vivaldi. You want deep customization on a browser that functions as a full productivity suite. Tor. You need genuine anonymity for specific sensitive browsing situations. Here's something worth stepping back to notice. Of the major browsers, Chrome, Edge, Brave, Opera, Vivaldi, all of them run on Blink. Only Firefox runs Gecko. Only Safari runs WebKit. This means one company's engine, Google's, runs the majority of web browsing that happens globally. This is why Firefox's continued existence matters beyond its market share. It's a check on monoculture. A web where every browser runs one engine is a web where one organization controls the rendering standard. Most browsers can do the same basic job, but the decisions they make about your data, your RAM, your privacy, and your ecosystem are completely different. Most people have never deliberately chosen their browser. Now you have enough to make that choice on purpose.